Tell me, future boy, who's president of the United States in 1985?
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan? The actor? Then who's vice president? Jerry Lewis? I suppose Jane Wyman is the first lady.
Whoa, wait, Doc.
And Jack Benny is the secretary of the treasury.
Doc, you gotta listen to me.
I've had enough practical jokes for one evening. Good night, future boy.
No, wait, Doc, the bruise on your head. I know how that happened. You told me the whole story. You were standing on the toilet, and you were hanging a clock, and you fell, and you hit your head on the sink. And that's when you came up with the idea for the flux capacitor, which is what makes cheat codes possible.
Hey, you guys. It's October 1st, 2015. Welcome to episode 65 of the Cheat Codes Podcast. The next hour is us enjoying a couple beers and going over our favorite bits from the past week in video game tech and pop culture news. We're recording this from inside a tricked out DeLorean. It's not nuclear, it's electrical.
Oh, you said nuclear. Oh, you're so fucking fired.
There may or may not be Libyan terrorists hot on our tail. Shut up!
I just love when we throw you off and you're just way off.
It does, it fucks me up.
Hey, you want to take that one again?
Not really.
Okay, cool.
Today I'm here with Cheat Codes producer and editor, Mr. Joe Doc Arroyo.
That's great.
Yeah,
great
although
Scott.
I read Doc, it's fine. Cheat Codes contributor, Mr. Nikk Einstein Golesh.
Hey, how's it going?
Right after the dog. You like that, didn't you?
Yeah.
And we're very pleased to welcome 3D artist extraordinaire and student, Nelson, Mr. Fusion Reid.
Hey,
What up? Welcome, man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Wanted to be here. It's all right. So
So like
far.
lifelong dream?
Yeah, kind of. I made it at this point.
That's the only time that's ever going to happen.
After the show, he's gonna call his
He's like,
mom
"Fuck."
and be like, "Hey, mom."
Yeah, this is the highlight of
Finally
my
happened.
career right now.
Hitting the big time. Today on the show, Nelson will be accompanying us as we go 88 miles per hour into the following topics.
I get it.
What, really? No? Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 is here, ladies and gentlemen. People are saying it's dead on arrival. No one here has played it. Full disclosure. But based on what we're hearing, we're not sure any of us will. Let's try and remember the good times and not kick flip somebody when they're down. Hey guys, there's water on Mars. I don't know if you heard about it. Let's talk about Time's infographic and all the wild shit that can kill us as we inevitably try to colonize the Red Planet. And TBS is going on the offensive, a global offensive. They're forming an esports league around Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Congrats, TBS. You're another network Callan Cowherd doesn't want to work for. For today's lightning round, we're going to try and round robin these little bits. Twitch finally beat Dark Souls. We said it wouldn't happen. We guessed wrong. The internet can really work together, you guys. Edward Snowden is on Twitter. Let's talk about how John Henrod's epic trolling of HLN just took everybody by surprise in the most awesome way possible. Gamers for the Win is celebrating 20 years of the PlayStation 1 in Europe this week, so let's get nostalgic a little bit. And finally, Telltale is reissuing Back to the Future, the game. This was their first conquest in trying to collect and adapt as many franchises as possible. They're probably reissuing the game about your life that you didn't know they were making a while back. So happy 30 years to Back to the Future. And this week, like every week before it, and every week in the foreseeable future, we're celebrating another occasion for conversation with a few pints. Today on the show, we're enjoying the Whistling Pig Hefeweizen from the folks in Leavenworth Beers.
From where?
Leavenworth. It's a good camping town. The whole town's decked out like it's a... I don't
It's
know,
like
a
Oktoberfest year-round.
Bavarian
Yeah.
village. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's a pretty great place to...
Oktoberfest coming up.
True.
They do. It's a big deal in Leavenworth.
They take that shit seriously out there.
Yeah.
Before we get started, Nelson, tell the fine folks at home where people can check out your work, what's coming up for you, and where people can get after you on Twitter.
So if you never want to hear from me again, follow me on Twitter because I use it never. At Neltron_.
I hope you get so many followers that people are just so interested in what you have to say.
No, I use it like once a year, maybe.
Maybe you should.
And I
use it
just
more.
retweet random bad things. You can follow me on ArtStation if you know what that is. Look up my name, Nelson Reid. NelsonReid.weebly.com for my art. That's it. Oh, and on SoundCloud, I'm on there.
All right.
I do music stuff from time to time
Oh, cool.
at Neltron.
Maybe we should get something for the intro of the show.
Yeah, you should hook me up with like fattest beat. That shit on there.
All right, so get out there and check it all out. Mr. Nelson Reid, ladies and gentlemen. Shall we get to the topics? to the topics.
Perhaps.
You guys remember when Tony Hawk, like the Pro Skater games, were like the shit? Like everything. Like the first 3 or 4 were, but not American Wasteland, none of that crap. But like,
I remember the first one.
right,
The very
Pro
first
Skater,
one.
yeah,
The
like
very first
that was a big fucking deal.
I learned who Primus was because of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
You didn't know who Primus was before that?
No, I just...
Les
wanted to-
Claypool, dude.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Let's talk about the Frog Brigade. Can we move on, please?
Big Brown Beaver and shit. Anyway, they've released, after much hoopla and much enthusiasm, the 5th iteration. It's been a few years. I feel like when I'm reading, it's not so hot. I feel like people are pissed.
I didn't even know this was coming out till like a month ago.
I saw a few things about it. The only thing I've seen recently, though, is I think he's like running into a rail and then he gets shot up in the air because it's a giant bug or something, and then like he just keeps going up or something and eventually he'll fall, I guess. But
I remember the reveal a long time ago. And,
Oh.
and then I remember forgetting about it.
I remember the reveal, as
That's a
far as I remember,
sentence.
like somebody spoiled it, like some chef that was catering a party
Yes,
for them.
that's what it
was. Doing it
was.
in the half pipe of some skate ranch or something, and like the chef was like standing in front of the TV, and on the TV in the background was the Tony
Hawk's
Pro Skater 5
logo.
or something, and it was like, oh shit, it's happening, everybody! Like,
Yep, I remember distinctly now. It was a leak.
yeah.
That it was an accidental leak from the chef just trying to take a little selfie at some event.
It's like, I'm catering
Yeah.
Tony Hawk's dinner, everybody. I'm fucking the shit. Hey, you are. If you're catering Tony Hawk's dinner, you're probably the shit.
And
you
then,
said,
whoops.
You said the chef was doing the half pipe?
No, the chef, like all the tables and like the setup for the dinner were
Okay.
like in the half
In the
pipe.
half pipe.
And in
When
the-
you first explained the story, I thought the chef was like rolling around on a skateboard serving.
that would be cool too.
Yeah, you gotta clarify that shit. Man. He's not the waiter. The chef doesn't serve your food.
That would be even better.
comes
The
out to
waiters are
check,
literally
yeah.
doing like that's how they're serving the food, is like up and down the half type.
half time.
Half type,
What's
yeah.
wrong with me tonight? All right. Anyway,
If the chef brought you the food, you would get no service because he'd be like, "No, don't fucking put salt on that. That's how I want it to taste."
the only time a chef comes out is
was
to
that kind of
either
event.
apologize for a bad dish or you're super fucking famous and they just wanted to meet you. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that's the deal as far as I understand it anyway. But it looks like, so they have a day 1 patch for this game. It's bigger than the actual game. What? I'm not even fucking kidding. I think the game is somewhere between 4 and 5 gigs, and the day 1 patch is like between 7 and 8.
So they didn't patch it; they just gave you a new version of it. So
That's what
it's
it is.
it's like
That's what
2.0
it is.
or 1.5 or whatever the fuck. Yeah.
They couldn't even get patches to work. They're just like, wipe it and just give you the whole fucking thing again. Also, we'll add the other 2 gigs of models we forgot or
Right,
something. I don't
right.
know how you even come up with 2 more gigs.
It seems excessive. Like there was this kind of big wrinkle at the end of the development cycle where they completely changed the art style. Like they were intentionally kind of going for the old school feel of what, you know, Tony Hawk kind of looked like and played like and everything else, but
Like the arcade kind of feel.
yeah. But I guess at the last minute they decided to change the art style to kind of have like that cell shaded semi Borderlands type look. So
Telltales is on their way.
that's the next franchise they're going to acquire. Yeah, is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. But
What kind of story?
yeah, who the fuck knows? You know, Bucky
Tony Hawk's
Lasik.
life
and-
story. Like,
I don't know. I think everybody kind of like that knows the original parts of this franchise secretly hoped that this was going to be awesome and like a triumphant return to this franchise.
What?
But I feel like they Hollywood rebooted it and it.
What's
just kinda
wrong
fell
with it?
flat.
I mean, there wasn't much to the game before. It was a lot of fun because it, I don't know, like it, I don't know, reaction time, the combos you could pull off and everything. I just remember the first game and everything. It was on PS1, I think, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't much to mess up, I feel like. Did they just try to do a bunch of new stuff, or is it just really buggy? I guess I don't know.
From everything I've seen, all the the Let's Plays or the review videos, it's literally just like a montage of bugs. Like there's this one particular corner in these levels where it just sends the player in all sorts of ragdoll directions, like through geometry. Like it's bad. It's like real bad.
no one clearly like knew what collision was. That's what it looks
seems
like. Like that's what it looks like.
Wow.
Or they had or they did for the 90% of the level, but that other 10% is like volatile and like they just didn't have enough testing or like
Do you
good
guys-
QA or whatever. But
Remember, there was like some, I think it was like open source maybe, but I'm not even sure. It was some online skater game or something where you just go around skating, of course, and
cool story.
the videos you always saw on it were bugs. Like it was always like the guy like
it was
skating
Skate.
into a like what was it called?
The game is called Skate.
Okay, well it's called
I'm pretty
Skate.
sure.
And have you guys seen videos on that? Like,
Yeah.
is that what this is reminiscent of?
No,
Or something? Because
that is cool because there are people who are actively seeking
like trying to
out-
find the bugs in
and these crazy physics bugs that occur. And then what they do is when you can find those bugs in that game, they pretty much defy mass.
explode the physics.
Yeah, so if you bring like an entire building or like a shipping container near it and then you do something weird, then suddenly it like the shipping container is light as hell and just goes flying into the air and shit like that. It's really cool to watch. But people have to try hard to create those
It's
circumstances.
an effort. I feel like
Yeah.
people like the game has only been out for a little while, and they actually pulled that thing where they didn't do a pre-release for reviewers, which is always kind of like a red flag for reviews. Like if you're
Yep.
not giving us an early copy to review, then like something's clearly wrong. That's not always the case, but a lot of times like that's definitely the way it goes.
Like the pre-release I saw for this was on like Conan's like.
oh, he
Clueless
was
Gamer.
playing with
Yeah.
fucking
Lil Wayne and
Lil
him
Wayne.
and Tony, yeah,
And Tony Hawk.
and they showed like 2 minutes of the game, and I was like, oh, so that's it.
Does that make you wonder what his experience must have been like in the actual filming of that? Like, you think Conan was playing it and just hitting every bug, and they're like, "Well, we'll just get some usable footage and then put that up." How about that?
this is the editor's problem.
Sign this waiver, please.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of those things. Like you try to explain to your grandma why the game's like not working at this moment or something because they like, I don't. It's weird. Like Conan's an older guy, I guess, and it just hit me that if you were playing a game and everything's going well, they're playing Call of Duty, the game's like really well polished and everything, but then you throw them in with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 and it just like starts exploding. They have no idea what's going on. Like, how do you explain to them that games don't always work all the time? Like,
In fact, games usually don't work most of the time for most of the dev cycle until the very end.
That's true, and the problem with that is too is like that's not like Conan, like Clueless Gamer is not the venue that you explain that on. You know what I mean? Like that's sorry, you know what I mean? Like that's just the way that shit goes. But which that makes sense to me because I remember seeing other Clueless Gamers where like Witcher 3 or Tomb Raider got like plenty of like good footage. So when you tell me that one only got like 2 minutes, I'm like,
It was definitely cut.
yeah, they
Pretty-
chopped that up
yeah,
pretty good,
yeah.
right? Yeah. Can you so in regards to the art change, Nelson? Can you speak at all to like no matter what the scope of a project is, like when you decide to all of a sudden kind of like the last third or the last quarter of a development cycle decide to change the art style of a game, like what that means and like what that is indicative of?
I mean, basically, they're designing ramps, so I don't know what's the big change there, but
Well, is it like a 3D animator model or like trying to change a bunch of like like skins and shit like that, like have a universal style? That's fucking crazy.
I mean, some of that is just making a shader and then
That's what I was thinking.
plugging it into everything.
It's probably just like a tune shader that
Yeah.
they made on
So
top
almost
of
like a
it.
not a post processing effect, but something to the, like on like a similar
Yeah,
scale. Okay.
that's pretty easy.
so it is.
Like,
Okay.
so-
Oh,
doing
all right.
a quick shader to get that effect. Tune
Yeah.
shader is not that bad, but the collision for like ramps and stuff, that should be pretty set.
Enough. I thought that was going to be much more
okay,
complicated.
so when
right on.
when he explained that, I got flashbacks to Mashball when we were making that game, and I had to throw in the physics engine in like half the semester or something.
Thanks,
And
Havoc,
on top
by
of
the
all my we had to throw it in Havoc because
Yeah.
we lost our physics programmer and we couldn't use it because it was all buggy. And you're explaining that ramps should be simple now, and I remember telling our designers like, we are not going to have ramps. We are not
This is
doing
not a
this right
thing
now.
that's
Yeah.
happening. Like rotational
You're gonna-
physics.
You're
fuck
gonna have
off.
to deal with this, okay?
Well, do you know why they have to deal with it? Because you use the term throw in physics. Like you're like, we're just throwing physics. We're just throwing havoc, and then it's good. Everything's fine. Just
I have
fucking throw it in
this
there.
semi-square shaped peg that I'm gonna shove into this semi-circular hole. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure. Why not?
We were talking about Tony Hawk. I feel like you were describing your sex life.
Just throwing stuff in.
Did we?
I'm trying to
Did
think
we
of-
change
of
the
a-
subject at some
I'm
point?
I'm trying
or-
to. I was actually. I got caught like trying to think of a escape maneuver that I could use. Like, I don't know. It didn't work out too. Benihana. What isn't that one?
I don't know.
kickflip.
Yeah, I
just
did. I
kickflip.
used that one at the top though. I can't
Oh,
use that again.
360
An
flip.
ollie.
And Ollie.
Wait, were you
Nolly.
fakey?
My
or
sex
were you...
life is more like a reverse manual. How's that? I don't know. A revert? Isn't that what they call that? I don't know. Anyway, sure.
No, are you goofy footed?
I'm goofy
bed?
That game was fun.
I remember like being able to unlock. I think this was like 2 or 3, but you like unlocked like the Spider-Man skin, so you'd like skate around as Spider-Man. Like that shit was awesome. Like some of the level design was really cool. Like they were like really interesting, just like combos you could throw together. It's a shame, man. And again, full disclosure, we haven't played the game, so maybe we're shitting in a toilet that you know doesn't want us to shit in it. But
But from what I'm seeing, like none of the levels look like Tony Hawk. They all look like skate parks. Like
that's the thing.
literally, like hey,
That kind of sucks.
yeah,
like
they're
super
just
flat, like not very dynamic. Not you know what I mean?
Well, Tony Hawk was cool because it's like you're skating in like an Air Force hangar or something, and like you get
a
on
place
top
you
of a jet
shouldn't
or
be
something.
skating in the
that's
first
what
place.
was really cool about
yeah,
it.
exactly. I totally agree, and maybe this is going to be one of those things where it was nice to have a nice franchise for a time, and maybe this is just like a hiccup, and they come back with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 6.
They will. I'm sure.
like what I think happened was Tony Hawk walked in there and was like, I want to make another game, and then Activision was like, okay, here's 3 people. Go do it.
Good luck.
Tony, you know how to program, right? Yeah. All right. Then you can have a little bit of money.
We wear many hats over here at Activision.
Well, the original series was Insomniac, right? I think.
That sounds right. With the eyeball.
Right?
Yeah,
They
the eyeball.
on the spike
Okay,
or whatever.
Wasn't that Neversoft?
That was
Yeah,
Neversoft.
Neversoft.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then
No, Insomniac.
Same
He's
thing.
making shit up. Insomniac with the eyeball logo.
we can agree on the eyeball logo. That's the important part.
It was Neversoft.
It was Neversoft.
Neversoft. All right, but I mean, they've since kind of been folded into somebody else. It's not, I think maybe
Insomniac?
EA. Yeah. Insomniac bought Neversoft, and then like EA or somebody bought them. I don't know.
EA owns everything.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
But I don't know. It feels like one of those situations where the developers just kind of woke up. They're like, hey, remember that game that we made like 10 years ago? We've been asleep for 10 years. Let's just make that game again.
Didn't they release like a rehash of the first game like a little while ago? I remember like just a reboot of Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
If they did, I'm not aware of it.
Okay.
I can't speak to it. But
It came out the same time Metal Gear Solid did.
Oh,
2 years ago?
Yeah.
You're a dick. You fucking shoehorned the shit out of that. All right. Speaking of horns.
No.
No.
Nope.
Nice try.
Okay. huge news in the world, in the real world, and all the area that extends from our real world is that the Mars probe has discovered water on Mars. Everybody, there is H2O on a place that is not Earth, which is a huge fucking deal for science fiction writers. Probably religious sects all over the world that are going to claim that they knew that there was water.
This
on
is
Mars.
gonna sound a little repetitive, but I feel like they determined this already. Like
I think everybody had a really good guess that they were going to find it eventually.
Yeah.
Like it has polar ice caps. Like ice is
Right.
water to some degree, or there's other types of ice. But I'm just saying, like
Lots
it was
of
a
other types of
safe
ice.
fucking bet. But it's still cool to have it finally confirmed. Time posted an infographic online, and I'm sure it's probably in the latest issue, right behind that horrible picture of Palmer Luckey. But whatever. They listed the 7 other things that if we decide to actually make an attempt to colonize and or eventually terraform Mars as the first Earth colony planet.
it's called Barsoon.
Bars. Edgar Burroughs. Edgar Rice
Yeah,
Burroughs.
it's a
John
book.
Carter of Mars, guys.
Keep going.
I don't read
No,
anything.
no, okay. Barsoon.
That was
I
back,
appreciate
that. Was
that.
back
It was a
when
good
sci-fi
reference,
was
dude.
good.
Where the men had muscles and the women were nothing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
They
that's
still
all.
are.
Jeez.
Oh my god.
Too soon.
Maybe. So,
Just right.
cause of death number 1, radiation. Astronauts would be exposed to 15 times the yearly amount that workers in a nuclear power plant are exposed
Stop
to.
saying nuclear, or I will come over there.
I'm sorry, nuclear.
Say it phonetically. God damn it.
Nuclear.
That sounded good.
That was perfect.
How do you say it?
Nuclear.
Nuclear.
Dude, I will smack you.
No.
It's nuclear.
And then we can all go to Chipotle after this. Dickheads.
So 15 times the yearly amount that workers in a nuclear power plant are exposed. I did it on purpose. Add that to a proposed 500-day stay and then a return trip. So anybody...
So basically, no. Don't
Right.
do that.
So crispy is
bad.
my...
Cancer immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they just don't have an atmosphere or something.
Right. Reason number 2 is temperature. The average temperature on Earth is slightly chilly, but comfortable 57 degrees Fahrenheit. On Mars, it's negative 81 degrees Fahrenheit. So pack your earmuffs, everybody. Atmosphere is a problem as well. Mars has about a 96% carbon dioxide-based atmosphere compared to Earth's 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen. And, some other stuff's kind of sprinkled in there. Gravity is also a problem.
Yeah, that movie sucked.
It's a great opening sequence, guys. Mars gravity is only about 38% of Earth's, which means eventually prolonged exposure in that environment. There's certain systems in the human body that
Okay,
break
you
down.
can't say we got to worry about the gravity because eventually we're gonna not be able to hold ourselves up on Earth if we came back. I guess our muscles would adapt while we were there.
Astronauts have this problem coming out of extended stays in orbit, as it is.
Yeah, I know, but the people that are going to Mars aren't coming back. Like the people that we're sending there right now.
No, it's an 8-month trip, and the colonization or the first mission is proposed to be 8 months out, 500 days on, 8 months back.
Well, they're gonna die there, so they're not coming back. Let's be honest.
There's that, too. There's that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen all the Red Planet movies? Where the
Well, so here's my other thing about this too is this is awfully this is either an amazing marketing stunt by Ridley Scott for the Martian movie.
he's the one that discovered the water.
Did you actually read the article where when he was asked to comment on it doing press for the new movie and he was like, "Oh yeah, I predicted this months ago."
No, shut up.
I mean, whatever. But
I wish he predicted how well what was the Exodus movie was going to do.
yeah.
Yeah, if he was
Use
really
a bunch
good
of
at
British
predicting
people
things.
instead of indigenously accurate, that kind of thing.
Ridley Scott, he's only got a few.
Whatever. He's brilliant. He's brilliant.
He's got a little bit in the tank left.
This is
before I
his
hate him.
redemption piece.
He's 77 years old, first of all, and the guy is still.
He's a 77-year-old racist.
But he makes good movies.
Yeah. Well, not the last two.
Or his last two.
His last two was
People say-
Exodus and Prometheus, wasn't it?
Oh well, I'm hit or miss on Prometheus.
Yeah,
Exodus
that
was
was
garbage, but
Prometheus was a brilliant cinematography masterpiece, and the story was absolute shit.
But he's doing Blade Runner 2, which I'm a little hit or miss on.
Yeah, we'll see.
And he's actually proposing a next another trilogy of Prometheus movies.
Yeah, it's called Alien something. They didn't even include Prometheus in the title.
I thought there were going to be 3 of those or something. That was their plan.
He's still planning on doing that apparently. So which means Michael Fassbender will be healthily employed for the next however long it takes before Ridley.
Michael Fassbender,
Passes it
was
off
he
to
the robot?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the best part of Prometheus or something. They're
He was
bringing
great.
him back.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because okay.
Did you not want to hear the rest
No,
of
here we
this?
go.
Okay.
It's coming.
Sorry. When I saw that, he was watching Prince of Arabia, I think, on the trip or Lawrence of Arabia. Yeah,
It's Peter
and
O'Toole is the actor.
and it's great because it's a bunch of British people playing like actors inside of an Arab
well, they're legionnaires, so he is a British guy in Arabia.
I understand that, but then they
Okay.
got Michael Guinness to play one of the Arab
Alec
Guinness,
Guinness,
to play one of the Arab leaders
so
and
bad.
everything, and he's not even. I don't know, he's British too.
Well, all right. guess who won the 1982 Oscar for Best Actor? It was Ben Kingsley for playing Gandhi. So just saying.
Anyone can do anything, and Jesus
Sorry.
was white.
Right. Which is why Ridley Scott turned around and was like, you know who I'm going to use to play all the Egyptians in Exodus? British people.
That's the irony. There we go.
There you go. So
I've never heard of Exodus or
Gods
seen
and
it.
Kings. It's Ridley Scott's biblical epic. He does the whole Moses and Ramsey story.
Okay.
So yeah.
Again.
Yes, exactly. Parting the Red Sea, the whole thing.
You know what
After
happens.
the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Well, Christian Bale was in that, wasn't
Yeah, he was.
he? That's too
Okay,
bad.
guys.
Are we getting back to it?
Mars.
Yay!
Space.
So Ridley Scott has another movie called The Martian out. Anyway,
I'm excited for this one.
it looks
Yeah.
good.
Don't stop it.
Anyway,
Okay.
so
on
the other
Mars.
reason that people are worried about, or at least Time Magazine's infographic is worried about colonization of Mars, is bad bugs is what they called it. There's probably germs there, microbes. If there's water, then there's probably life to some degree, at least on a microbial level. astronauts had to stay in a 21-day quarantine after the Apollo mission. So imagine the stay that any astronauts that do make it back would have to stay in, just to like how do our immune systems react to that kind of thing, or how those bugs affect early terraformed plant life, blah blah blah.
So is this like confirmed there's like germs? Because that's terrifying.
No, it's just like the risk of it actually existing.
Yeah, the way it's worded really bothers me.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
like-
and there could like be Martians there that fucking cut my head off.
Exactly. This to me was like the. I'm like, come on, Time Magazine, come on. You know what I mean?
I don't really like that. The whole idea that, basically, we're probably bringing something over that's going to kill all the the bacteria.
yeah.
Or it'll blend in with something else and become something like
that's
super
probably
mutant
what's going to
thing.
happen. Yeah. And it'll never come back here. And the fact that you brought up the whole moon thing, where they brought like back bacteria and everything, when they don't even have like an atmosphere to bring it back. Like the moon, when they first went to the moon, we didn't have any idea what to expect because we thought it was made of cheese.
Yep.
So obviously there's going to be
True story. We actually didn't even land on the moon, guys. It's a hoax.
No,
I'm
obviously
saying.
there's going to be bacteria there because that's how you make cheese.
Right. Well, good cheese anyway. Yeah. The other
So
problem.
I can understand.
No, please,
the
you continue. Yeah, you good?
So that's what they're nervous about. Apparently, like what do they think that Mars is made out of at this point? Because apparently
Red velvet cake.
Yeah.
The other, how many we have left? Because we're never going to make it. Infrastructure is also a problem. Hard to control humidity would preclude plants to give off too much oxygen. Assuming that we can get plants to work on Mars, would give off so much oxygen that explosions are a risk because of all that extra oxygen. A little weak point too.
long hair don't care.
This last one is literally the reason for every like almost horror space movie of all time, and that's the mind, where isolation, unfamiliar territory, all those things that start to affect kind of how we perceive living in confined spaces, being isolated, blah 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 blah. That's the seventh thing that they think.
That's so fucking sensationalist. Like,
listen, Time's got to compete with things like Inquirer.
Yeah, I'm already alone now. Like, jeez.
exactly.
Not going to get worse, right?
Maybe you should just go to fucking Mars then, bro.
I might.
Yeah.
Like if you lock yourself in your room all day, and you start, playing that kind of game. It's like, my mind's playing tricks on me, and
Oh, I'm a
blah.
loser. No, I
Yeah.
have no friends.
And you're like, no, man, you're great.
All I
Just
can
keep
think
talking to
of,
yourself.
all I can think of is all of a sudden is like the crew of the Nostromo in Alien, where like they're all just sitting in space. Also a Ridley Scott movie, you guys. Where all of a sudden they're just kind of like they're just sitting around instead of talking to each other. They're just like, guys, we're fucking losers. But anyway.
When you brought up aliens, I
done
thought
that.
it was free reign for me to bring up aliens also. So
Okay, great.
when-
Go ahead. You have
okay, no, who's the guy? The
90
guy
seconds.
from Mad About You, and he's in Aliens, and he's the bad guy.
Paul
Paul.
Shriver?
No.
Sheer?
Shearer. No.
No. Paul
We're close.
Reiser.
Paul Reiser. Nice.
I had flashbacks of Paul Reiser explaining to me the terraforming system and everything, where like they put these giant generators on the planet and everything, and they create this atmosphere and everything. When you said like explosions, it reminded me of the entire Aliens movie and everything. I got really scared.
Okay.
Wow. Say Ridley Scott one more time. So we
Ridley
can-
Scott.
Yeah. All right, good. Thank you.
Next.
Speaking of a bunch of people sitting in the rooms watching stuff and feeling like losers, that was a Colin Cowherd statement, by the
Right.
way. I just want to make that everybody aware of that. That's not how I feel about this. But TBS, the network, Turner Broadcasting Systems, where they air Conan, actually, is decided they're going to invest in Counter-Strike Go as a league. They're going to create their own Counter-Strike Go league, everybody. This is awesome. This is great. This is like a full-on network getting on board. They
That's
beat
awesome.
ESPN to the punch. This is huge. Like I'm really on board with this. I'm loving everything about it.
Yeah, why is it not ESPN?
Because half of their like broadcasters would quit if they actually.
Well, just one, and he did. And now he works for Fox
no, but
Sports.
you don't know what's going to happen when.
Well, they broadcast Heroes of the Storm over that weekend or whatever. Like, they're slowly getting on board, just not as quick apparently as Turner Broadcasting is. The plan is that they're going to broadcast 20 live events on Friday nights in 2016, split into 10-week blocks twice a year. It'll include playoffs and championship rounds. They're partnering with some other people to kind of make this happen, but they're staying kind of away from MLG and stuff like that as well. They're doing their own thing. I think they're really trying to just capitalize on the market right now and make it happen. I think this is fucking rad. I think not for nothing. Like people kind of seen the success that Conan has had with Clueless Gamer, and they're like, maybe this demographic is something we need. They've seen what's happening with Twitch streaming and YouTube streaming and everything else. And they're like, TBS has never been one of the major 4 networks. They were surpassed by Fox a long time ago to join the ranks of like NBC, CBS, and ABC. And TBS is like, fuck this. We're gonna work this demographic hard. You know what I mean? I think this is great.
Yeah, TBS is. For me, I don't have TV. I watch everything on the internet. But, TBS is like a family, station. So it's kind of weird for them to pick up, Counter-Strike, which is kind of like a realistic game about shooting people in the face. But,
if you're good at it.
It's shooting terrorists.
Yeah. It's pretty patriotic, I guess. They're about that. Capitalism, whatever.
It worked out. It worked itself out. You made your own point. You solved your problem. Everything worked out at the end of your sentence.
That's what we call rubber ducking around here. Yeah.
I am actually shocked when I think about it more that ESPN didn't get on board. I mean, with how many different versions of ESPN there are, you'd think that at least ESPN 8, the Ocho, would pick it up after Dodgeball.
That's right.
Somebody, right? Yeah, exactly. Why not? Why didn't they?
ESPN can make their own channel at this point, strictly for games.
Yep.
They got the capital.
Well, they have the viewership as well, and not for nothing. So does TBS. I mean, they're getting pumped into 90 million people's homes every day, whether you have cable or not. You know what I mean? The whole idea that they're just doing it before everybody else seems like a no-brainer. It's kind of one of those things where you turn around and be like,
who didn't jump on board first? Why didn't somebody else?
TBS, well, good for you, man. Take that crown.
Yeah,
Fucking
ESPN could have their own station, ESPN, and it would work out perfect.
Esports. PN. P Network.
Nice try.
I'm a little. So they chose Counter-Strike first, I guess,
Yep.
or are they?
And Global Offensive specifically, yeah.
Okay.
Where the MOBA's at.
Yeah.
I'm curious, yeah, because Counter-Strike, in my opinion, it's just my opinion because a lot of people play Counter-Strike and it's not really something that I'm into. I guess I would have chosen some other MOBA first, probably to broadcast because it's more fun for me to watch. But I don't know, Counter-Strike may be more accessible to normal people.
I agree with Nick.
Maybe
No, not with the actually minus your last comment, because I actually think that more people in terms of watching it, I feel like I would more enjoy watching MOBA over.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. But you think of, this is a real generalization and stuff, but
we never do that on this show.
You get the people that have basic cable or something, and they're gonna understand guns and shooting people with guns more than
using
casting spells and stuff. Yeah,
upgrading a weapon.
They're gonna understand that a lot better, and they're gonna be able to relate to that more because it's just something that anybody can relate to, I guess.
Yeah,
I think it's a reasonable point.
Yeah, killing terrorists, they're going to be all about that. They understand what that means.
And there's a lot
every
less.
American.
There's a lot less to do in Counter-Strike. In now that I think about it more, if I'm watching a thing of League of Legends, even though it's kind of more entertaining because you have this nice view of the spectator view, I think makes more sense in that than a first-person shooter. But from a high level, explaining why they went back to the base to go grab a bunch of items and then come back and do a bunch of spells, and everyone's gonna be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
If it gets really popular, then TBS can do something like the NFL DirecTV package with the red zone, where you're literally watching all 9 players on one screen. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this guy's about to get a kill. I'm gonna click onto that channel. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
There would be all the different MOBA matches or anything going on whenever they're at risk of somebody's at risk of dying low health.
Sure.
It's like the low health channel.
You need a MOBA, a NFL red zone for each game though, because they're all going to be engaged in one thing at the same time, and
absolutely.
Each engagement of each set of players is a different game in a sense. So I don't know.
No, I you're not wrong. I'm just making jokes over here. Go
When
ahead.
is
What?
fantasy MOBA gonna happen? When are we gonna be in a fantasy
Right.
league
Sure,
for a MOBA game?
I'm gonna take this guy from this team and this guy from this team. It's true.
They do that in Dota too. They have the compendium. You can run your own
fantasy
league for each player.
No
You
shit,
have it.
for real.
Yeah,
Of course,
they do.
Dota 2.
Yeah.
Of course,
they
Valve
do.
did it.
Yeah, Valve does everything.
This episode is brought to you by DraftKings. Yeah,
So it's a real sport now.
yeah, exactly. If you can win $1 million a week, kind of. Yeah.
New Dota League every week. I only deposited $20 and I made $5 million because someone's losing money and it's not me.
Not me. That's why they asked me to do this ad. I don't know. I just think it's cool. I think we're all past the point, and I think maybe even Jimmy Kimmel's getting there, where broadcasted and streamed games are an entertainment source for people that aren't playing them. You know what I mean?
Is he getting there? I haven't heard a follow up since we
He's
last
not getting
made fun
there.
of
I think
him.
he smartly let that fucking thing die. We're going to keep bringing it up because we like kicking dead horses.
I just feel like he could have smartly acknowledged that he screwed up, I guess, or something. Like
That's never going to happen.
No?
I think we like poking dead bodies. It's more like Stand By Me than anything
Fair
else.
enough. Shout out to Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
Shout out to Kiefer Sutherland.
Okay.
Yep.
He played Snake. I'm just
I
saying.
know. Were you just going to start naming all the actors in Stand By Me?
R.I.P. River Phoenix. All right. I love that movie. All right. Lightning round. No sound effects this time.
What's that?
Don't do it.
I'm not going to do it. All right, guys. First topic today for the lightning round, and we're going to start with our guest. You'll get a minute to talk about Twitch. Once upon a time, beat a bunch of Pokemon games.
Yeah.
They've officially beat Dark Souls. To be fair, they've altered the client with a delay mechanism to streamline the process. The official parameters, as they, or I guess I should just say that the stats were, it took them 43 days to do it, and they averaged just under 1,000 deaths, about 900 and change. Up next, Goldfish playing Dark Souls on Twitch.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Reid, you have 1 minute.
So first of all, I haven't even beat Dark Souls. I played it for about an hour, and then I was like, "Yeah, this is a little too hard for me." I was playing on a keyboard. I'll give that, like, that's my problem. Should have got a controller. But I watched like a little of it on day like 19, and they were stuck in the pool, and then I was I was over it at that point, and was like, this is never gonna happen, guys. They're done. I'm gonna walk away from this and come back. So I don't know, they beat it, I didn't beat it, so that's cool. You know, they're better than me, I guess.
Don't feel bad. I've never finished it either.
Yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah,
Are you ceding your time?
Yeah, that's it.
+1 for being humble. All right. It was good. Mr. Arroyo,
Oh, I get to go.
you have 1 minute.
Oh, how to talk about Blood Boner without
It's not Bloodborne, it's Dark Souls.
well, yeah, but it's Blood Boner. It's the same game. Don't even worry about it. They're definitely the same. I don't know. I don't really give a shit.
Okay.
Sorry. Twitch can play so many games and stuff's gonna happen. As soon as you start helping it, kind of loses the allure to me.
Yes.
Although I will probably admit that if I played, let's just keep saying Blood Boner because I'm gonna commit to that.
We committed a long time ago, buddy.
I'd probably die more than 900 times. So that's probably the part that confuses me the most, is how little they actually died when I saw that number. But other than that, I'm kind of over the Twitch plays thing, and I would hope that it, kind of dies a quick death. Hopefully not 900 deaths of Twitch plays 900 different games. So
Okay.
good luck, everyone.
I think they're booting up Dark Souls 2 here in the next couple days, so
I hope
enjoy.
I know. I just no points,
No points.
nothing. You don't
No
even want
You know what?
admit
I'm gonna
that
give you.
You don't have to give him points.
You don't have to give me anything, but you should.
He didn't care enough for points.
I'm gonna give you +0.
Fuck you.
That's better than -0.
Broke even.
What a dick.
Let's see. My opinion about this is, I want Twitch to keep going. Twitch, play everything if you can. But these guys are a bunch of cheaters because they paused the game like every time they made a move or something. So they didn't beat shit. Like this is like one of those. This is one of those instances of Smash Brothers where like they pause every move and the guys are like fighting beneath the stage and they're bouncing off of each other and they just keep attacking and nobody dies because every move is choreographed or something. That's what I feel like this is, because they paused the game and they cheated. But 900 deaths is not enough deaths for these cheaters.
Oh my god! You need to die more.
But I don't know. Like
Immediate +5.
I don't know. Let's play it without the pause mechanic and maybe Anarchy and see if there's any faith. Like see if we go somewhere. I don't know. Eventually, are people going to give up?
Shut up. Your time's up. you lose.
Mr. Golesh, you never failed to
Or
look
you
lightning
win,
round. Yeah. One way or the other. All right. So here's my thing. I completely agree with Nick to this degree. Yes, are they cheaters? Yes, to a certain degree. But like, how do you get a game like Dark Souls to work on a Twitch Plays platform with this? Otherwise, it's madness. Like you said, you started watching, thinking like they were stuck in the pond, nobody's going anywhere. You know what I mean? And that's what happens in a game like this. You can't. I don't know if you could do like Witcher 3 or open like even Metal Gear Solid 5 or something like that, where Twitch Play. Yeah. Fuck it, man. It's fucked. Like you can't do it. You have to have some sort of safeguard to make it work appropriately with some quote unquote democratic measure that makes the game work. You know what I mean? It makes it feel impure in that regard, and that's where I agree with you, Mr. Arroyo. And that's how that goes. I'm going to reward myself 0 points for this as well. I just want to say that I love all of you, and I agree with all three of you. I think we address this appropriately. Everybody understands it. I feel like the programmers understand it. The people that are fucking hosting this shit, and they're like, you know what? People like these games. Let's have a Twitch Plays thing. Great. Now we're going to move on to the next one. What happens when the franchise stops? You know where you go next? Blood Boner.
They should stick to like turn-based games if they're going to keep doing this. That would be better, honestly.
There's a combinatorial like nature to it that you have to kind of abide by, I think. Anyway.
Yeah.
Twitch can only play so much.
Twitch can play everything. Not only is Edward Snowden on Twitter, but a massive troll took a huge dump all over Headline News Network when interviewed about it. His Twitter handle is @fart. Literally.
At Snowden's?
No.
Damn it.
That would be great too, actually. But his name was whatever. We announced at the top. I can't remember what it is now. It's on the script. Fuck it. Headline News did a little report about the fact that when Edward Snowden joined Twitter this past week, the guy accumulated like 1 million followers within hours. And so they were like, oh, do people need to fucking worry about this? Like, isn't this weird that he's kind of like coming out of hiding a little bit to like be on social media in the first place? Is Twitter a reliable platform to do that for him? Blah, 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 blah.
Is he still in an airport? I don't know.
He's living somewhere in Russia, I think.
All right.
If you guys haven't watched Citizen 4, the documentary, I think it's on HBO right now. You guys should fucking watch it. I'll leave it at that. Mr. Arroyo.
Why?
You have 1 minute to discuss the epic trolling of Headline News Network over the Edward Snowden Twitter debacle.
This is going to be a boring minute because this
You
is
didn't
like
watch
one
it.
of the few ones that I actually did not see. So I can't really comment on what the troll even was, let alone who Edward Snowden is. Just kidding. I know that. All I know is what I would do with that kind of fame. If I was able to start a Twitter account and get 1 million followers, is dick pics. And now I'm that's the rest of my time. Thank you.
Hashtag Snapchat. For clarification, before we pass this on, the troll made a equivocation that likened Edward Snowden to Edward Scissorhands. So when Edward Snowden was, fled the country and in exile, essentially based on our government's attitude towards
he was
him.
putting his little the tower.
The
in yeah, okay, I get it.
Exactly.
I get it.
There we go.
Okay.
I get it. Can I start over? No.
Mr. Reid, you have 1 minute to discuss the epic trolling.
I thought it was like a pretty good correlation, like 1-to-1 of Snowden's story to the tragic story of Edward Scissorhands, like So it was actually pretty good. I think people just misheard it. They didn't think deep enough. Honestly, when he was like, "Oh, he's exiled," he wasn't made by whoever.
Vincent Price.
Yeah, Vincent Price, but Edward Snowden made himself, And that's what's important.
He used his hands to carve a dinosaur out of a shrub.
And that's when
he
people
became-
got scared, when Edward Snowden created this beast of whatever he did. The government's bad, and that's what all he did. He told the government that they were bad, They hide too much from us, okay? Bush did 9/11. Honestly.
And that's your time.
Dear government,
That's a minute.
the attitudes reflected by our guest Nelson Reid do not reflect the attitudes expressed by this podcast.
They may, but we will not admit it.
Correct. Disclaimer incoming. Mr. Golesh, you have 1 minute.
Okay, I agree a little bit with him.
Is it me?
No, not you. I guess I feel more. I don't know who I feel more sorry for: Edward Scissorhands or Edward Snowden. Like, Edward Scissorhands is a guy that was misunderstood, and he was acted against unjustly by the entire community, but us Americans understood where Edward Snowden came from, and nobody's like raising their pitchforks, like trying to like, I don't know, make it right. Does any of this make any sense? I don't know.
Keep going.
Okay,
You're
so
fine. I'm with you.
we know where Edward Snowden stands for, and like we agree with that. But Edward Scissorhands, we can get back behind because he's acted by Johnny Depp, and Johnny Depp's great. And so,
2-1-0.
Okay. So
Your turn.
I haven't awarded any points for this topic.
Oh, you haven't.
Because the first two proponents seem to have very little context about
That's not true.
what was happening. Well, you definitely did. And no offense, as I felt like you could have used your minute better.
Oh.
I definitely probably could.
Oh.
But-
Don't be a dick to our guest, man.
Jeez.
I'm not being a dick. I'm just saying we're playing the lightning round right now. Play better, God damn it!
All right, then take your minute, or else we're gonna give you points this round.
All right,
Are
fair
you
enough.
ready?
Fine. Yeah, go.
All right,
Minus 3.
Joe Erskine, you have 1 minute to talk
Thank
about
you.
Ed Snowden being like compared to Ed Scissorhands. Okay, go.
The correlation is an excellent one. They're both named Ed. Their last names start with S. I want to hear at some point before the end of the show. I'm not saying do it now. I want to hear Nikk try to pronounce Scissorhands at least once before we come back. But this is my thing. If people that watch the video understood, I can't understand. There's one correlation to make, and then people that watch the video will post to it when we post the episode. But there's two gargantuan efforts being made here. A, by the troll, who is literally just holding down the analogy that, like, no matter what, he holds it straight for the first couple of minutes, and then all of a sudden he starts like Vincent Price and Exile, and he's like, and all of a sudden, like, this guy carved, hedges into dinosaurs. Like, why would we exile this guy and all this other stuff? And the anchor that was happening the whole time during the interview kept a straight face. So I can't tell if she was just being professional or had no fucking clue what was happening, and she just didn't want to ruin live TV. I leave it up to you to decide.
The latter. And what did I say? Edward Scissorhands or something? Or
It was-
You said every variation
Pretty
of all
bad.
of it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
You said every, like, you're like Edward Scissorhand, Edward Scissors Hands.
Scissorhands.
You did, I think you pluralized both.
Does that not make sense though? Like he had scissors on both of his hands. He had Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And what about
But
Snowden?
it's called Edward Scissorhands.
I know, but that's the name of the movie. But I'm just describing the
But that's not
guy.
his name.
But him, who is he?
Well,
Wait.
we wish you
Joe
well,
Erskine.
Edward Snow's Dens. We wish you well.
Sorry, you're being compared to Skizzurzhands. But Joe Erskine, I would like to give you a point
Thanks, man.
for spending your minute wisely to make fun of Nikk.
Okay.
That's my point. I don't know what you guys want to
Thank
give
you.
him, but
Thank you for agreeing with me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Do I get points for that?
You can get 0.5 for that.
All right,
Plus
point and a half.
0.5.
All right, I'm up a point and a half right now.
I'm gonna say you get +1 for agreeing with our guest and -1 for agreeing with our guest and then telling him he could have spent his minute wiser, and yet he made a point you agreed with.
Okay,
Well, that's fine.
it's fine.
It's all right. Sometimes we don't know how to host a show. Sorry.
That was good. That was good. All right. 20 years ago this week, the PlayStation 1 debuted in Europe. Gamers FTW, or Gamers for the Win if you'd like, .co.uk did a 2-part series detailing all the stuff that they loved, all the things that they played, things like Crash Bandicoot, things like Tomb Raider, things like Twisted Metal, stuff like that. that everybody goes back to and remembers about the initial iteration of the PlayStation. Mr. Golesh.
You look like you want to start your minute.
Do you guys remember Independence Day?
No, you have not started your minute.
The movie or the game?
Was there an 94 game?
Yeah, there's an 94 game. You get to play
All right,
around.
stop. Nick, you have 1 minute. Go.
Oh my god. What are we talking
We're
about?
gonna get nostalgic about
PS1?
PlayStation.
Okay,
No, I'm sorry. Let me qualify.
I remember-
Let's be nostalgic about trying to be European and then understanding what it is having a PlayStation then.
So Independence Day is the perfect topic for
If you're
European
British,
gamers.
yeah, absolutely.
A game about America. So, I remember this game is a lot of fun, and you basically you're stuck in this cylinder where you're flying around underneath like the giant doomsday like city spaceships and everything, and you're just trying to fly around and shoot missiles at all the enemy alien spacecrafts, and then you go and you shoot a missile at the very center or something, and just like in the movie. And what is it? I don't have any point, but
So plus 1 point for having no point.
I just remember the PlayStation, and it started with 2D graphics, and it ended with like fucking Final Fantasy
7
8
or
and
8 or 9, yeah.
Chrono Cross and everything, and you got these 3D games and everything. And it's like PlayStation 1 was awesome. Fuck yeah.
Good job.
Mr. Reid.
Yeah. So the PlayStation 1 was pretty good. I only played like Tomb Raider on it, and that was about it. Because I never beat Tomb Raider because I was like 5 and I was a child and could not beat those puzzles. Not gonna lie. But it's been out for 20 years apparently.
In Europe.
In Europe. When did it come out in the US? I don't know. I have no idea. But I remember having one. I didn't have one personally. My friend had it, and I would go over and play Tomb Raider. That was it. And we would listen to like CDs on it because it played CDs, and that was great. Back when like NSYNC was a thing.
Ace of Base.
Yeah. But I'm not really like hyped about the PlayStation in general. Like I was a Nintendo 64 thing forever. You know, I was about that mostly. But I guess they can be excited about it if they want to be.
And that's your time.
Yeah.
That's how we buzz someone. And that's your time.
Mr. Arroyo, you have a minute to talk about
Are you going to award points? What happened to that? When did that go
Points
away?
are dead.
I already won.
Did you get bored?
I think Nick did win already.
Oh, this is fucked up. I
still
can't
wa-
say
I
that and then pass the torch.
I still want to hear what you have to... I haven't even gone myself, so don't worry about
Well,
it.
we all know you're going to lose. That's not...
I can't award myself points. Yes, exactly. No, I agree with you. It's hard to know what it's like to be European.
Yeah.
I'm not either.
I haven't even been to Europe.
All right, well, I've been to Europe, but
It's like America, but less free.
Isn't that everywhere?
I imagine there's better. I imagine there's better. Like seriously, U.S. government, please don't listen to this episode.
Yeah, I already said
Just turn it off. No, my thing is.
I'm just saying
Whatever.
that's why we left. Like,
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, whose turn is
Why?
it?
Because of Tomb Raider? Really?
The puzzles, man. They're hard. I'm
We
out of
actually
here.
rated tombs, guys. Also the four-sided canonical boobs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Am I right, guys?
Yeah.
there were
the butt.
triangles. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were great triangles at that age.
I played it on the PC.
Of course you did.
Oh, so they were spherical on the PC.
They were a little
weren't
bit
they,
better.
Mr. PC Master Race.
PC Mouse Race. Yeah.
Plus two to our guests. Joe, you have a minute.
For
Go.
PC Master Race?
Okay, so
Do you have a minute for people?
do I get to start this over?
Yeah, you
Jesus
start
Christ,
over.
guys. Okay. All right. All of my most fondest memories about gaming and going from playing games in like a arcade style. I mean, I've been gaming since the Nintendo. I even played a bunch of Atari, loved it, all that kind of stuff. But I will say that PlayStation was the first console that I owned where I started to really kind of see the story potential in games and a lot of interesting things like that. So I've got Resident Evil, which was great, and Tomb Raider. Also, which was fucking hard, so I'll give you that.
Metal Gear Solid.
It was
Thank
a
you.
poorly designed game, so it was very difficult. And then definitely Metal Gear Solid, which like tops it. And this is the console where we've talked about this in recent weeks, where it's gone from almost like very little to some really amazing things. Like people learned how to push those graphics intensely. So I don't care if you're European or not. Okay,
I hope you're
PlayStation's
listening,
fucking
Tony
awesome.
Hawk.
I'm glad that they have a 20-year anniversary somewhere.
Oh, you perfectly timed that. It was
I'm
weird.
gonna give you. I'm
Goddamn right.
gonna give you a +5 for a well-structured minute there, buddy.
Thank you.
That was good.
Thank you. I thought about it in advance. I had bullet points. No.
For the purposes of being nostalgic, I just want to say, you can start my minute if you want.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII. Like I played a bunch of stuff, like Road Rash. Like I played fucking Tomb Raider. Obviously, it was hard. Shooting a fucking tiger with 2 fucking pistols is not fun. A T-Rex running through you in a canyon is not fun. I mean, it's fun, but it's scary, and you're like, holy fucking T-Rex! Like, what time frame am I in? I don't know. Road Rash was cool. Twisted Metal was fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Like all that shit. Like Crash Bandicoot. All like it was a whole new level. Because I'm the Nintendo Atari age as well. Nintendo 64, fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, but like the first 6-axis, they didn't call it the 6-axis back then, but the controller was fucking amazing. You're like, oh, bumpers?
It was a DualShock.
What?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
DualShock.
DualShock, that's what it was. Thank you. I don't know. It's nice to reminisce about like one of the best and most important consoles of any video game era of all time. So, light gray for the win. Thanks to gamers, FTW.co.uk. Go check them out. They have a 2-part series. You can read all about their reminiscing instead of listening to us about it.
I'll give you a +1 for
Final
mentioning the
Fantasy
same games you mentioned in the introduction,
Final
and
Fantasy
I'll
VII.
give you a -1 for thinking that the PlayStation 1 had motion control. That was,
Yeah.
that was cool.
Not 6-axis. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
The original controller didn't even have the
I deserve
analog
that.
sticks.
I deserve that. That's fine. You're right. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen,
Great Scott.
we're gonna nice. We're gonna bookend this appropriately. Back to the Future of the game, getting this updated and reissued for the next gen consoles. Game that came out like 10 years ago is getting a 30th year anniversary. Because let's face it, 1985 was 30 years ago, guys.
Yeah.
I'm so
That's
old.
Jesus.
I'm so old.
Yeah, I'll be 30.
Are you really gonna?
I'll be 30 this December. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I'm pretty excited.
I'm not
I
going to
lived
tell you
all
how.
of
I'm not
Back
going
to
to
the
tell you
Future.
how old I am. Then fuck that. There's some new textures, some new VO, behind the scenes videos, and probably product tie-ins. Because honestly, who can? I'm sure there's going to be Lego sets galore. It's like
God, I love
Back to the
Legos.
Future.
They're games.
We did the quote intro after. We did the whole theme of the show after today. Let's all take a minute to reminisce about everything that we love. Not necessarily about the Back to the Future game, because until I brought this topic up, apparently none of you knew about it, even in its original iteration. But
What do we know about?
let's just talk about Back to the Future for a minute, okay? Can you handle that?
The movie or the Telltale game?
October.
It's up
Whatever you want.
Okay.
Here we go.
And we're going to start with me right now. That's how,
October.
yeah, I'm going to start
like it. Okay.
Everybody got a turn. There were 4 lightning round topics.
You're right. Go.
All right.
Here you go.
Back to the Future. I love Michael J. Fox. I love Doc Brown. Christopher Lloyd. Okay. I love DeLoreans. No, let's be honest here. I think, honestly, it's one of the great franchises that I hope they never fucking reboot. Like, Telltale can take it and run with it as far as they fucking want and make all the games they want out of it. Turn them into the Walking Dead style / Fables / whatever the, Minecraft with a story. Whatever you want to do, guys. Have fun with it. Do all the art shit that's kind of cel-shaded but not, that you want. Hollywood, if you fucking reboot Back to the Future, I will burn you to the fucking ground. All right? That's it. I don't want to do it. Like, you can't ever... Like, God bless you, Robert Zemeckis, for giving us something great. I don't care how you feel about 2 and 3. I think they're all awesome. 2 did some fucking great stuff with, like, time travel. 3... Who doesn't love a fucking Western? Am I right, guys? Anyway, happy 30th. It's Back to the Future.
It's all one movie. It doesn't matter.
It's right.
It's all one movie.
Wait for your turn.
His turn was up. I could talk.
That's true. That's true. All right. So, gentlemen,
Oh, do we award you points?
If you want.
I think you did a great job,
Thanks.
especially the part where you said, "I like DeLoreans."
DeLoreans are fun.
They're dope.
You know, it was almost a Ford.
Stainless steel cars, guys. I'm just saying.
You know, Ford tried to buy their way into the movie, and so he
Yep.
would drive Ford at 88 miles per hour instead.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're like, Doc Brown doesn't drive a Ford.
It feels like you're
This car can't hit 88 miles per hour.
Neither can the DeLorean. The DeLorean.
I know, right?
They had to
Yeah.
replace the engine in the car so that it could reach the speeds that they needed.
Yeah, but
not
the
a sports
doors,
car.
dude. But the doors. They fucking open. Okay, whose turn is it?
we're gonna. Who did I start with? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Start with
Arroyo,
you.
you're up.
Start with
Arroyo,
you,
you're up.
dummy. You, dummy.
No, last round is what I meant. But
Oh.
yeah.
I get to go. Okay. Back to the Future. The single movie that last three movies is one of my favorite movies. The last three movies, no doubt. I love it so much, and I think it's kind of weird that I didn't know that Telltale did a Back to the Future game. It's fucking crazy because I probably would have played it right away. But I don't know. I don't know why they didn't. I also love the Western theme. I don't know why people didn't like that either. I think people fear change or something. I also, you one moment you're going in the future and then you're in the past. And they're like, this isn't called Back to the Future. It's called Back to the Past now. That's kind of confusing. Like, which direction are we going?
Well,
Or
it's
like,
technically back.
like, are we going the future or the past? Are we going back to the past or like forward to the future? It's a little bit confusing because anything about time travel is fucking confusing. And you should learn to accept that if you're going to watch a fucking movie because it's not real.
Terminator is the only movie that has done time travel like accurately.
No,
and
they
good.
did a bullshit job later.
Plus one for exposing the fallacy of Hollywood time travel. Let's all pretend though for a second that it does work.
It's called Back to the Present. It should have been called Back to the
Correct.
Present.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Golesh, you have a minute to talk
What am I?
about.
What am I
Back to the
talking
Future.
about?
Back to the future.
Back to the Future.
Technically,
Okay,
or
so-
Back to the Present if you want. I don't know.
So-
There you go.
I picture this game being more of a Lego movie, like a Lego game, like Marvel's Legos or like the Batman Lego Adventure or something. Like the game should have been a Lego game where you go and you reassemble the DeLorean or something with lightning hitting you and stuff. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like this should have been one of those like Doc Brown. You seem like you want to say something, but
It's not your turn.
I know. Doc Brown, Marty McFly, and the girl that was his girlfriend that they replaced from the first movie to a new actress in the second movie, and who was the girl in Adventures in Babysitting. If you haven't seen that movie's awesome. It's basically Goodies, but they should have made this a Lego game.
Okay. Is that it?
Are you done?
Sure, why not?
Okay, they did make it. It's called Lego Dimensions. It's out right now, where they have all the fucking franchises where it's like Wizard of Oz and fucking like Harry Potter, or probably not Harry Potter, but they have like Lord of the Rings, like Batman, DC Universe. It's all in one fucking game. It's called Lego Dimensions.
Back to the Future deserves its own Lego game.
It's called Disney
It doesn't
Infinity?
it doesn't have to be.
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Lego Dimensions.
Right, and you put your Disney Lego character on
You
this
put your
little-
Skylander character on the pad. Yeah.
You take any fucking
It's your
old
Skylander R2D2.
You go digging in your old fucking childhood drawer for any action figure you can, and it'll be like, oh yeah, I recognize that. It's the Ninja Turtle that swims in your bathtub. Let's take you to that scene. Boom.
You pour some gasoline on it and light a match.
Okay.
But no, seriously, if you haven't seen Adventures in Babysitting, you should watch that movie.
Are you good now? Yeah, Nelson is definitely up. You got a minute, buddy.
You're done.
Talk about Back to the Future.
Okay, Telltale Games is re-releasing this. I played the first one, honestly, for about another hour. You know, that's my limit on games.
Sweet.
It was pretty buggy. It was not smooth. And then I quit. So if they smooth this game out, that would be cool. But Back to the Future, I don't remember any of those movies, honestly.
Oh.
I've seen them all. I've seen them. But it's been years, It's been years. I need to go back and rewatch them. I remember the flame trails and the clock, That's about it.
The important stuff.
Yeah. The special effects. But that's cool, They're bringing it back, bringing it full circle. But
My heart hurts right now.
I'm working on a visual novel now. You know, that's relevant.
Based on the fact that that's what Telltale does.
I'm gonna try doing better than them. Maybe. Who knows?
You should take on like Back to the Future because you seem to know a lot about that movie series.
Or it's new territory that you should learn about.
I should.
All right.
You should. Why don't you just do a visual novel about Back to the Future?
Time travel's messy. You don't want that.
What is your visual novel about?
It's about like
What's the pitch?
it's called Dead Man's Hand. So it's about this group of people that are forced to play these like games for their lives in this casino, and there's like cyborgs. It's like in really early development. It's like infancy, so I don't really know the story completely.
Are the cyborgs,
I like everything you've said so far.
Yeah.
It's
are the cyborgs the dealers or the players?
the cyborg is the dealer. So
That's
but
important.
the cyborg is also something else. Spoiler alert. I won't-
don't do
Yeah,
that.
Like
to
a
me.
human Cylons kind of thing?
Who knows? I don't know yet.
Oh, I like it.
But it's in very early development. But
Alright.
yeah, we'll see where that goes. So it's gonna be a mystery thing. You know, they have to solve why everyone gets killed after the games and whatnver, you know, whatnot.
I'm gonna
Just
plus
tell me everyone
one
dies.
Mr. Reid for a better segue from Telltale into his personal graphic, novel than any segue that I did tonight. So plus one to you, sir.
It was better than any of yours.
They suck.
Okay,
There were no segues.
we clearly just addressed that. We don't have to fucking labor upon that point. Thank you.
Dude, don't we though? Don't we? Hey, say Edward Scissorhands.
Edward Skizzurzhands.
Oh boy, I think we've done it. Have we done it? I think we did it.
Yeah.
We're gonna call it quits for the day. Episode 65 has come to a close. We want to wish everyone a belated happy podcast day. It's October the 1st, like I said at the top, but yesterday was podcast day. I hope you all spent time listening to all of your favorite podcasts, and I hope that included us. And if not, then at least something that you enjoyed listening to. Podcasts, wise, right? Nelson, thanks so much for being here, man. Appreciate you taking the time. One more time, let people know where they can tweet at you so that you'll never ever
Respond.
Yeah. Okay, Twitter guys, here it comes. Are you ready?
I think so.
Yeah. Neltron _. Just follow
I'm
me.
gonna follow the shit out of you.
There's
this
nothing's
podcast is gonna
be
follow
there.
you,
Yeah.
man.
I'm gonna
Nothing-
follow you and unfollow you so I can follow you again.
Oh,
I don't know what that means.
Do you get 2 notifications when you do that?
Right, I don't know.
I don't
if I
think
keep
so.
doing it, or is your email gonna blow up?
all right, we've done it. Shut up. Please, dear listener, let us know what you think. Hit us up at cheatcodespodcast.com, Facebook, Twitter, and get in on all the conversation. Spread the word. Tell all your friends. And until then, stay tuned for a new episode coming next week. More guests, just like our fabulous Mr. Nelson Reid. Thanks again, man.
No problem.
All right. Cheers,
I'll come
everybody.
back.
Yes, you will. We don't have anybody lined up. No, I'm kidding. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you next week.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
What?